everyone, it's Michael and
Matt
and
Ruben
from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, bringing you, thankfully, Friday.
Yeah, what a treat. It's been well deserved this week, just quietly.
I got to say, I'm crawling over the line at the moment. It's been a week and a half.
It has indeed. It does feel that way, but it's been good. It's good to get to the end of it and do the stream and catch up with all the friendly viewers and hear their thoughts and opinions. It's good fun.
Some of the not so friendlies.
Well, yeah, some characters, but it's such is the spice of live television, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
I think some of the things obviously we try and get across with this stream is some of the education, bit of an update of what's going on in the industry. I think it also, a little bit for me anyway, serves a little bit of that for us as well. It's like, people will say, oh, have you seen this coin design? Have you seen, have you caught up with this? And it's kind of a nice, refreshing update for us as well to go, hey, yeah, this is going on. This is what's happening.
Used to find in a previous life where I was an instructor,
Mm-hmm.
I always said I learnt far more out of each session than the students did because there was always another way to view something or another comment or an update that you'd missed or all those types of things. And there was never a course where I didn't at some point go, oh yeah. Wow.
So this is how you fly a plane, huh?
No, never got to that bad.
Stephen Bayer is catching it from his couch today as opposed to sneak watching it at work.
Nice
just
one.
the normal arrangement, I believe, if I've got that right.
You can tell the POM in the audience. Morning, everyone.
Yeah.
We are into the afternoon.
Yeah, we're coming at you from the future.
Yeah, that's the one. Here's a question. What happened to the unboxing knives, the inscribed ones? Anyhow, they are
they were flash.
just over there.
There is one missing from that, and that is actually the inscribed one that he's talking about. We do have that one there.
Some sort of bear, this was called,
Yes,
wasn't it?
that was given to us by one of our customers.
One of our illustrious customers, and we still use it in unboxings.
I won't even bother.
I'm not sure if I
myself.
want to confess to. I know what happened to the other one, at least temporarily. Was one of the guys nicked it for the store for a second to cut into some bread.
It has a safety latch on
Some
it.
bread.
There was words had, but yeah, it was also a lunch knife temporarily, so it needs a bit of a clean, I think. But that one sits on my little knife stand.
This is good with a little child-proof latch. That's why
Are you struggling to get it?
I couldn't open it. I thought, I won't bother, but yeah, it's just a
I
nice
was
little latch.
going to comment on the mat-proof latch.
The people over in WA are arcing up a little bit, Michael. It's not just the English that are still in the morning. If we're starting at 2:30, it's
11:30
for them as well.
Getting ready for lunch.
Are the English at 11:30 at the moment?
No.
In the morning still, or is it?
They're 3 hours, yeah.
No, the POMs aren't. They're more than 3 hours.
No, we're talking about WA.
They're like early morning.
Is it still? Has it clicked over midnight yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who's
I
to
should know
say?
this. Yeah, I should. This time of year, it's 11 hours, isn't it? Yeah, so we're all good.
All right. It sounds like people are wanting us to get straight into one of the main topics.
There you go. It's 3:30. Sorry, keep going.
See the dedication. Wanting us to cut straight into one of the key topics, and that is about the Kangaroos.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This early on, we barely even said hello.
Yeah, you're just going to slide that lower tone, that bad mood in already.
We're talking about is how we're glad it's the end of the week and we can start to put some stuff behind us.
You would not
That's all
believe.
the glass half full or half empty thing. It's me getting it out of the way so we can move on to some brighter and better things.
This isn't glass half full, half empty. This is the glass has been over-engineered. So look, let's get this kangaroo disaster out of the way right from the start. So it's like every so often you get a customer that we call it the lightning strike. Like if there's going to be a problem, it's going to be with this customer, and it happens over and over and over and over and over. And that seems to be this order.
The customer? Oh,
well,
no, it's
in
the
this
order.
case, it's this Perth Mint order. We've had other orders from Perth Mint are flowing through no problem. These flaming kangaroos, they've finally arrived. So the kangaroos arrived this week. We've started processing them. So you'll notice on the website that the gold kangaroos are now off pre-order because we now have them in the system and they're all functioning okay, mostly. But it has been a drama to get to this stage, considering that a lot of things that we've ordered both before and after the order was placed for these kangaroos have been and gone and come back again. So this has been a problem. The silver kangaroo shipment They have dispatched out of Perth. That's no worries. It hit the courier. I almost said the name there, and I don't want to give the name with what I'm about to say. So it's a delivery of 5,000 coins. So how many boxes is that? That's 10. Hang on, that's 20-something boxes.
20.
Yeah, 20 boxes.
Yeah.
So it's 20 monster boxes in a delivery. They all get dispatched in one hit. They are arriving one box at a time. Mm-hmm. So we don't know what's happened to the vast majority of the boxes. But a couple of them have turned up, so we're starting to process out the door. But 90% of these boxes, and that's only the first delivery, 90% of these boxes are somewhere, but we can track them, or they can track them, to leaving Perth on the one truck, on the one pallet, but not all arriving in Melbourne all at the same time. So we have no idea. So if you're somewhere between Perth and Melbourne, and there's a scattering of kangaroo monster boxes littered across the side of the Nullarbor, they're probably ours. So if you could pick them up and deliver them in, that would be greatly appreciated, because no one seems to know where they are. I strongly suspect that the second shipment of kangaroos will turn up before the first shipment does. But look, they are turning up one box at a time. We are getting them out as quickly as we can. We do them in order of received payment. So if you've ordered early and paid early, you should either have yours or they should be on the way. And if you paid late or ordered late, they might still be, anything up to a week away, I'd suggest.
There's a comment there from Goat. We've kind of talked about this a little bit before for our potential option for our own deliveries. And that's, he says, honestly terrifying considering the value. Perth Mint might need to start sending them with air tags or something and then refund you the cost of the air tags if you send them back. So some sort of actually specific tracking. Considering the value, do you reckon that's something Perth will ever move towards or us for our stuff?
I don't think they will move towards that, but we are looking at moving towards that ourselves. So the Bullion Now deliveries soonish, and I've been threatening this for a little while, and it keeps getting to the top of the list, and then I have things like this flaming kangaroo thing happen where
you keep saying flaming kangaroo, and I think everyone's now wanting a flaming kangaroo design.
Yeah,
actually, I wouldn't mind doing that one. But this kangaroo thing must have taken up 40% of my week just trying to sort this out. I've been chasing my tail, no pun intended, literally for the last probably the last 2 weeks with this. So, yeah, we are moving to some form of AirTag system, hopefully very soon.
That'd be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very, very, very good. Very much looking forward to that.
We've highlighted the existence of Melbourne in Florida in one of our recent videos, and someone suggesting that maybe they were accidentally sent to Melbourne, Florida instead of Melbourne.
I'm just thankful
Victoria.
There's no Melbourne in Austria, because everything would be going there.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. All right, what's next, mate?
Michael Carroll wants to know if there's any updates on the Call of Duty bars.
I believe we've paid for them.
Cool. Okay.
I know. Let me chase that one up. I believe we've paid for them. I saw someone else make a comment about the what are those alien cons?
That was next up. So Urban Aerials has managed to catch a stream for the first time in a while, apparently. Wanting to know an update on the aliens. And also, do people who purchased the 110s previously take priority on the gold ones?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. We've been bandying that one around the office a little bit as well. I'm leaning towards a yes on that. I think.
Oh, that may not be. That will be popular with those that secured them last year. It may not be popular for those trying to tap into it.
At the end of the day, you start to you build a set. You kind of have an expectation to be able to complete that. Yeah, complete the set. And I think you should be able to expect that. That you get a slight priority because you've supported that company, in this case Bullion Now. You've spent your money with them, so there should be a little bit of loyalty going back the other way as well. So I think it's I think it's only fair. I don't 100% know how we're going to administer that, but I think it's not an unfair expectation of a customer to say, look, I bought this one last year. I'd like to buy it again. I'd like the opportunity at least to buy it this year.
I'll be interested. I think this poll will basically just tell me who bought
them last year.
At least on a percentage basis. But yeah, I still think it's interesting. Very much leaning towards yes, but yeah.
Yeah, look, and really we're talking about the 1/10 because what
The
are they
silvers
limited
we
to?
should have. I want
5,000?
I'm not
I
even-
want
I
to
don't
say
think
it
it's
was
that much.
1,000, and I think we got
Yeah.
100. I think we
1,000,
got.
that, yeah, rings a
I
bell.
think we got 1/10 of the entire
World's
worldwide
allocation.
usage,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
was just phenomenal. Like,
Yeah, and we've got more this time than last time.
Oh, okay.
So
There you go.
we've taken a large chunk of the worldwide allocation.
Wow.
So, look, if I can, let me phrase it this way: if it's in our power to administer it that way, that is the way we will most likely do it.
Yeah, nice poll. Way to start off the
I
stream.
Did it without Matt's consent. Sorry, mate.
Oh, well, you're always going to get a nod from this end.
Yeah. And look,
dear.
I mean, it's not all a one-sided thing. I said, you should expect loyalty back from us to say, hey, you purchased beforehand, you should get the first right of refusal. I think it also buys into, you support our company and we'll support you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We try and
I think I've still got the photo up there as we're talking about it.
yeah. So we try and keep a good reputation with people, and I think that's part of doing that. I think it's a two-way street, and this is one that we should go down.
Invasion is here. That might have to be the title of the video when it
Yeah,
goes.
that's cool.
Need some background music to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'd want to whack some copyrighted music, on that, so I'll have to pick carefully.
Yeah. Alrighty, what else have we got, mate? Yeah, we've knocked those.
Also on the update train, a couple of people wondering about the updates on the mammoths, the Royal Canadian
Oh,
Mint.
yeah.
I
Ice
paid for them
Age.
this week.
Again,
Cool.
paid for.
Yeah,
Cool.
they're
That
paid
means,
for. Haven't seen a shipping number on them, but they're definitely paid for.
yeah, at least flowing through the system. Update on the Tudor Dragons. PDK wants to know.
The Tudor Dragons.
That'll be the new 2 ounce out of the Royal Mint.
Yeah, I'm
Done.
trying to think if I paid the bill or not. I'm sure we placed the order. I've paid out so much money this week. We've either got the order in place and we haven't paid for it, or we've got the order in place and we have paid for it. We haven't got a shipping number on them yet anyway.
But the wheels are turning,
The
most
wheels-
importantly.
Yeah, the wheels.
Wheels
slowly
are
but
doing
surely,
something.
They're grinding away.
Everyone suggesting the X-Files music. That is exactly where
Yeah.
my mind went to.
Yeah.
And what I'm not sure if I'd be able to show up to be able to use or not.
Brian Smythe's comment I want to come back to. So flag that one for a conversation in a moment.
Yep.
So other updates that are coming through. Do you want me to go through them, Rubes, or do you want to flag them?
We can keep going through. One I've just noticed there from Peter Grace, me guide, the Great Southern Land. That's been one that's lots of
Yeah.
people have been asking about.
Actually, I asked Perth Mint about that on...
I think we did that on stream. Yeah, did we get a?
Yeah, I don't think I
response?
responded on stream, though.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think... Yeah, that vaguely rings a bell.
Great Southern Land, here it is.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Let me get a close up there.
Dum, dum, dum. This is the official response from Perth Mint that I'm not allowed to do probably on here. So please, don't listen to this. So at this stage, we won't be releasing the Great Southern Land this year. So this was back in November. We asked this comment of last
So
year.
2023 we're
Ooh.
talking. Yeah.
Due to the issues with the IFG, we postponed the release until 24. At this stage, it's scheduled for July 24.
Yeah, well, that's not a big deal. It's not like it's a...
But there's a hole in my collection now.
It's funny because things like that, you know what I almost would suggest to any mint that has that type of a gap in a series? On the 2025 release, highlight on the box...
What about the
that
cert?
the
And
highlight...
the cert or instead?
No, highlight on both.
Okay.
Like explain the reason for the gap. So if 10 years down the road I'm trying to put together a full set, I'm not going to be tearing my hair out looking
for this
around for this coin that doesn't
23.
exist. And if there's not really clear communication, because a lot of that stuff, a lot of that in the collector world, and this is why it's like harking back to the benefit of the ingot, the bar and ingot guide that Kim has put together.
Yes.
Without information like that, you're relying on word of mouth.
Mm.
And
in an
streams like this,
Exactly.
it's Michael just saying there what the reason is will be buried, and
Exactly. You say,
it
oh, go to
puts me in a-
stream number 145 of Bullion Now, 44 minutes in, when
Yeah.
they're not laughing away. They drop a little gem of information that's, relevant 10 years later.
Yeah. Perth aren't going to be putting it on the listing of the
exactly,
one after that.
which
you know,
would be
is
nice if
essentially
they
gonna be
did
archived.
reference that, just a little
Yeah.
explanation as to what
I
went
had
on.
I had a different suggestion for you.
Hit it.
Instead of publishing it like that,
Mm.
on all of the marketing documentation they send us, it says in very small print, so I've got to get 2 pairs of glasses on, something along the lines of, coin not necessarily minted in year of date.
Okay.
Meaning that, just because it's dated 2024 doesn't mean they actually minted it this year. So why not just release 2 Great Southern Lands this year? One at the start of the year, one at the end of the year. One of them dated 2023, one of them dated 2024. And it fills the hole. It satisfies my OCD.
Yes, but then does this become give an inch and they'll take a mile all of a sudden, like you pointed out with the early cooks?
Kookaburras.
Exactly. All of a sudden, there's heaps of demand for a 2016 issue we did. Now that we've opened up the door, we can just make whatever whenever, and all of a sudden the year is now irrelevant.
No, well, I think the year is irrelevant anyway. It's just part of the design.
Yes, however, when you have a change of monarch, look out, all of a sudden it's relevant again.
Yeah, but
For a year at least.
why can't they fill? I still don't see why they can't just fill the hole, and that way we don't go through all this hassle and all this garbage. And
Well,
yeah,
that's one way to put it, yeah.
I mean, I'm not suggesting they produce 2 different 2023s. I'm
Yeah.
saying recognise that. Okay, we didn't get it out in 2023, but we're gonna release it in 2024.
But I guess, though,
I'm not suggesting they go and reprint the 1930 penny or something like that.
for sure, my view of that is similarly, who cares? Because it's not a lunar series where, okay, you're doing a year of the dragon and it's the year of the ox. You can't do that.
But
it's
it's
a Great
whole-
Southern Land.
no, it's
Who
a whole in
cares?
the collection.
Because
The
when you
numbers.
display your Great Southern Land collection, it goes, 2019, 2020. Actually, I don't think they started in 19, but whichever year they started,
Yeah,
21,
yeah.
22, 24, and every single person that comes to see your collection is going to go,
Where's
what
that
happened
one?
to
Who's coming
23?
to see your collection?
Oh, mate, I show my collection to everyone.
I don't think I've ever seen your collection. What are you talking about?
Well, okay, I'll have to dig my collection out
Exactly.
for you and show you.
Exactly. But
Someone,
it's a
someone
fair
was
point.
asking us
I think-
to show more of our stacks, so that might be the
Yeah,
the
we're
end.
going to have to do some sort of spotlight in that regard. But
Mm.
it's a fair point. But is there any questions in the chat?
It's the whole reason. It's the whole well, it's not the whole reason, I suppose, but it's a reason why the 1930 penny replica is produced, because people don't like a hole in their collection.
Okay, that's
Because
fair.
most people that collect have some form of OCD.
That's true. Oh, I don't disagree with that. I can relate to that. However, unless you have an album for modern proof coins are different in the sense that you don't have an album like a Dance Go push-in album. That they're those albums that have the dates
Yeah.
listed and you put each of your pennies, florins, whatever in them. Modern proof coins, you don't have that.
But
Although
that's how it's also how I look up coins. Like, I'm not going to remember each, 10, 20 years from now, I'm not going to remember the sequence of the different, the pearl, the, whatever each one is. I'm just going to look up Great Southern Land 2022, or, I'm going to go by year. And if I'm trying to fill out a set, I will just look sequentially for each year. And I would just not find anything about the 2023. And I would just assume that it's super rare or
this is
impossible to
true.
get.
Fundamentally, I don't disagree. I'm just being a bit difficult. I was sort of trying to spice the stream up a bit. Because it makes total sense.
Anyway, I'll pitch that next time I'm over in Perth. I'll
Yeah.
say, what about? But by that stage, I go, well, we can't fit it on the production line. It's going to have to be 2025 before we
Yeah.
make this thing.
Yeah, great idea. We'll make a note of it.
All right.
Back to Bullion.
We still... There's probably been 50 questions go through,
Well, there's
and
been
we've missed all of them.
There's been a couple that kind of fill out into separate conversations that we were going to have a little bit later. So I don't know if you want to jump into them right now or not. But
No, well, we still haven't finished the what's coming down the pike. New releases and that.
we've
Did
done
we?
most
Was
of the
there
ones
something
people
else?
had
Yeah.
asked about, I believe.
okay. No one wants to know about anything else on the releases. That's good.
There was,
There
there
was
was-
some other stuff.
Yeah, so Plumer says, are the 2024 Lunar Dragon minted bars in stock for general purchase yet?
This is the gold ones.
Yes.
We got a delivery of them today. I know we're still filling some back orders, but I'm going to say yes.
I'm not sure if we've had this discussion on stream before, so apologies if we have. Modified Stacker says, thoughts please, gents, on Perth Mint adding a dragon privy to the 1 ounce gold lunar bullion coin. Is this the first time the privy has been added to the gold lunar coins? I know they messed around with
think
privies.
so, yeah,
I
I'm
know they
gonna-
messed
yeah.
around with privies for Series 2. I remember the
Yeah,
monkey.
but not in the gold.
But not
They
in the
did it
gold.
silver.
And yeah.
No, they've never done one in the gold that
No,
that
nothing
comes to mind.
for any theme or year. Because like we said initially, it felt like an opportunity to expand upon a mintage, and I don't know that they've ever run into huge issues with the 1 ounce gold, have they? In terms
No.
of, oh, we've run out, 3 months into the year. How can we stretch it out a bit? But yeah, that's a good question.
The Matt showed me this week. The Royal Mint have released the next in their series with like King Arthur, Merlin, that kind of ones. And it kind of follows along with a question from Crypto Monkey. Says, is there any chance you will get the Morgan Le Fay 1 ounce silver coins for the Royal Mint, so that those of us that purchase King Arthur and Merlin can complete our sets? So we're now.
Is it actually part of that set?
It is
though?
part of that set.
It is okay.
It's the myths and legends.
You made a rod for your own back with your alien comment,
Yep.
so good luck tap
'Cause
dancing
we're-
out of this one.
Because we're now. Well, I think his excuse is just the words Royal Mint. If I had to guess, but there's now. That's it. We're now like 2 behind, basically. We've got to get. Desi, it is the same as the Robin Hood one, but they kind of split it off. So it is still part of the same series, but it's a different collection within that series. It's a bit of a weird. The way they explained it was a little bit odd.
Yeah, they needed to really pick a lane with that and stick with
Yeah.
it.
I agree. And I think we should bring him in.
You think we should?
I think we should.
All right. So yeah,
I think I said no to that the other week.
I-
but
Yeah, you
pretty
probably did, but
sure
yeah,
you
now that,
did.
yeah.
I think we should.
Mr. Anderson, what is the reason for gold's increase the last few days? Is it the weak Aussie dollar?
Yeah, I think it's a combination. I think there's a little bit of uncertainty in the world, and a lot of the traders and that are getting back into full swing in the Northern Hemisphere. A lot of the sellbacks worldwide, because it's a worldwide phenomenon in January. It's buyback month. That seems to have calmed down a bit, so it's back to the old supply-demand situation. I think that's why we've seen the uptick in the last week or so.
One of the other ones being questioned as to if we were getting it in is this coin right here.
Matt, tell me your opinion on this coin.
You sure you want to hear it?
I just want to insert here that Matt's opinions are not endorsed in any way by Bullion Now.
I'll put my shirt inside out.
That's right. This is his own personal opinion.
Oh, I think it stinks. I don't like it at all. I think it's terrible. I think it's an absolute... Oh, I think it's a wind-up.
Bezzy says too much going on.
Yeah, it's
A bit busy?
It looks... all right, here's what it is. To me, and this is purely one bloke's opinion, it looks like an early rough draft on a napkin. And they say... And you would hand that to someone and say, all right, I'll refine it and make it look more like a noteworthy coin. Even on Britannia's helmet, it just looks incomplete. It looks like a
Missing some
draft.
texture.
I thought
The
it
whole
was-
thing just
When
looks...
I first saw it, I thought it was an upside-down Donald Trump.
Yeah, see, Michael agrees with me. He's trying to put me under the bus, but it looks like once again it's unanimous. It does nothing for me. Conceptually, it's a great idea. I love this idea of
It's a bit of yin yang almost.
yeah.
Within the two.
and just
two
the
countries.
idea of multiple nations being depicted on one coin. I think is really cool, but the execution on this, just in my humble opinion, is rubbish.
Show us the other side. Have you got the other side?
I haven't got that loaded up, but I.
Because the other side I
can.
don't think is as bad.
What have you got? Charles and Joe Biden.
Oh, now there's a coin. I would actually buy that coin.
Is it them holding hands? Is that the one I'm like touching hands? Am I looking at the right
Is
photo
it?
here?
What do you? Who
I don't know.
knows?
Bring
yeah,
it
what
up.
are you looking at? Well, yeah, we can't
Oh,
see.
I want to check I've got the right thing first, but let me load it up. That Un momento.
I love the concept. I love.
Is that it?
Yeah, there's
That's
nothing
kind
wrong
of
with
cool.
that.
Is that the other side? Surely not. What? Is this a round? Isn't it a coin?
Yeah, it's a coin. That's
So
not the
this is
other
a
side.
different
Well,
coin.
that's why I was asking. If
I actually don't mind that one.
Yeah, that's I can get around.
I'm
The
not sure.
lion's face looks a little how you going.
Yeah, no, I am entirely wrong
Yeah,
on
that
that
looks
one.
like a different series. That's that series I could get around.
You reckon?
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah, while he's looking for that, totally off topic.
Yeah,
You
hit
know,
it.
I heard this week that the Poms have 2 aircraft carriers.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
They do not have the facilities to support their aircraft carriers. They
Found it.
can't operate
Found
them
it.
without the assistance of the Americans. They
Really?
have to sail with the American fleet.
Sail with the fleet.
Yeah,
when
with
we
the
talking
Americans. They're
about?
aircraft carriers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't actually operate them independently. They
Really?
can only operate them with the US fleet. This piece of information.
Yeah,
I don't know why
good-
that actually came to
Good
mind.
to know.
But,
Handy
yeah.
tidbit.
I actually don't mind the other side.
Yeah. So it's a round. It's not a coin.
Hmm.
Oh. Yeah. I would display what I guess would be the obverse. That's nice. I don't mind it. I'm not head over heels for it, but it's an improvement.
James is disagreeing.
James is calling me out. And
Yeah.
look, he could be right. It was in a report that I was reading. So I haven't done a lot of in-depth knowledge. I just went, wow, why would you do that?
He took the article at face
Yep.
value. Uh-oh.
Saw it on news.com. Fact.
There you go. Brought them in early. They will be self-sufficient when the UK gets more F-35s. Oh, there you go. So it sounds like the article might have been fact.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Good to
know.
know.
I'll call the Royal Navy and find out.
yeah.
Sounds like they're right up there with the Royal Mint.
With
Yeah.
your contacts. Wanted to go back to a comment that I thought was worth touching on that, like I said, might expand into a bit of a further discussion.
Well, there we
from-
go. They're exactly like the Royal Mint. Both aircraft carriers are based in Portsmouth and keep breaking down.
From Michael Carroll. Say, I went through the Internet Archive and looked at Bullion websites from 5 to 7 years ago. I noticed they had more variety back then. Why do more stores seem so limited in variety now? Is it low popularity?
I would have said we've had more variety now than we've ever had.
But this is
Yeah.
looking at the broader market, not necessarily just us. I mean, we've got some weird and wacky, but
Are we talking on an Australian sense or a worldwide sense?
I can ask Michael to clarify, but
I feel, generally speaking, and maybe because we talk about it regularly, I feel like there's now more than ever more variety. Like it's at a point now where people are going to have to start making the decision of, all right, whereas historically, even as recently as a few years ago, I remember as a customer, anytime BN did a video, I'd just dive in straight away. Before I even finish the video, I'd click on the link and get a couple of whatever was going with the silver coin releases. But now, with so much variety, I think it's more common that people need to stop for a second and then maybe think, well, if I'm playing a long game here, or if I'm putting a collection together, like we alluded to with the Morgan Le Fay coins, like if you're putting together a series or like the aliens, you need to start considering, if this is going to go on for another 10 or 12 coins, do I start now or do I hold off, or I've already committed to another series and there's going to be a release in a month. Where do you draw the line? But historically, I don't think that was really an issue. Like as a collector,
they are talking Australia, but more so bar variation. So I
Oh,
guess
we're talking on the I'm seeing it now.
even with us, that's it. I suppose we used to get things in from the Royal Canadian Mint, some of their bars. We used to get PAMP bars in far more frequently. So I guess depending on what metric you use, some of that kind of stuff has slowed, and I guess potentially other companies have made similar decisions or slightly varied ones.
If we're specifically talking about PAMP bars, the problem is they've jacked the premium horrendously, so we're all balking at bringing them in because the premium on them has gone up probably 300%.
Is it
Really?
to the case where if everyone's balking that the market will, the market is still wanting them, that it's worth getting just to have
I don't know. I mean, I'm not having a dig at the Americans here, but anytime I talk to PAMP about this, their response is the Americans are paying it.
Yeah.
So, like, they just see me as the tight-ass Australian slightly. But, like to me, when you can increase your premium 300%, we're just not going to look at buying them. Yeah, I get accused of price gouging when we put the Kangaroos up a little bit. You imagine if I brought the Pamp in and jacked the premium
People
up
aren't
300%,
accusing you.
they'd nail me to the wall.
People are not accusing you. People are wondering why it's more expensive than something from the other side of the world. And I think that's a fairly
That's probably a fair
question.
call.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not unusual that we get a comment, and it is a random comment here and there. Okay, I'm not trying to character assassinate our whole customer base or anything along those sort of lines. But it's certainly we'll release something. There was a coin recently that we got hammered over. What was that? I don't remember now. Anyway, there was something we brought in. We pitched it at, and it was about a 20% increase in premium. And we got a bit of flack over that. And it's, like the premiums are going up. The premiums are increasing quite a bit. And some of them are at a point where we won't touch them anymore until the premiums come back. For at least 12 months, I banged on about how we wouldn't bring in US Eagles because the premium got too high. That's why you're seeing, if you're specifically talking about stuff like the Pamp and that's the reason you're seeing less and less of them in the country. I had a discussion with another bullion dealer in another state. We were talking about collaborating, bringing the Pamps in, the Pamp Silver Lady Fortunas in. And we kind of got to the end of the conclusion and went, holy mackerel, that's how much they're going to charge us. It's not worth us doing it. Because neither of us thought we could actually sell them for enough money to make not even really make a profit, to even just over break even on them. It was, the premiums have gone mad. So if that's what you're referring to, you're going to see less of that coming in, I'd say, until premiums start returning back to where they should be. If you're talking about general variety, I would say there is more variety now than there has ever been. But possibly the downside of that is that there is so much variety that you can't bring in everything. You can't bring in some of the old faithfuls, so some of the old faithfuls may miss out.
Yeah, comment to that is, some of us like the exotic items. We understand they're expensive, and Crypto Monkey's echoing that. So I think I would be hopeful, particularly if we're ordering something else from that company, that maybe we can start getting some of that variety in, but we've got to wait and see.
Yeah, we touched on this in the morning brief this morning, where there's also an economic thing where if you're placing an order for stock, you need to be able to place a large enough order. Now, there's two components to that. You need enough of an order, X number of ounces, X number of kilos, whatever, to make the freight and all that sort of stuff worthwhile bringing in, because we get charged the whole way along. So, you've got border force charges just for signing off the parcel at the end of the day. There's obviously the freight costs and processing costs all the way through. There's bank transfer fees when we have to transfer currency back and forth, and conversion fees and all that sort of stuff. So you've got to bring in, enough of a quantity, but you've also got to buy enough of that specific thing in that quantity. So if you're saying we're dealing with one of our overseas suppliers and we order 10,000 ounces of silver, just because we're buying 10,000 ounces of silver doesn't mean we could bring in 100 ounces of a specific coin, because they're going to turn around and say, fine, we'll supply you with 100 ounces of it, but we're going to supply you at a retail price, because by the time we open up the monster box, we actually, take out the 3, 4, 5 tubes that you want. We package them securely. We make sure that they get delivered properly, all that sort of stuff. The processing time on that, they charge us for, and it makes it unviable to bring it in. So you've got to bring at least a monster box. Most monster boxes, not all, are 500 ounces. So we're committing to bring 500 ounces of a certain thing in at any one time, even though it's part of a greater 10,000 ounce order. So you're bringing, sorry, did I say 5,000 ounces then? I meant to say 500. You're bringing in 500 of those. If you think the total market in Australia is 100 ounces, what do we do with the other 400 ounces? It's great for people to say, well, I'd buy one, and as a coin collector, I fully support that. But as a business, I can't say, well, okay, we can bring that coin in. We have to bring in 500 of them. I know there's 100 people that will pay $150 for that 1 ounce coin, but I'm going to be left with 400 of them that we can't sell. So that's also part of the reason why you're going to see less variety coming in. Well, that was a long answer to a short question, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. And you stayed on topic the whole time. It was because I didn't get involved.
Alrighty, let me scroll back through and see what else we've had come through. I like Mr. Anderson's comment there. If the Perth Mint wants to be greedy guts, we'll buy foreign coins. Simple. And I guess that's kind of what you're saying a little bit with PAMP's premiums and things is, and talking about the American Eagles and things like that is essentially voting with your wallet and, going, hey, we're gonna put more money behind this because it's, a little bit more economical.
I have no problem with that comment. The issue I have is you've got to recognise that this is going to light them up a bit. You've got to recognise the fact that you're buying a lower quality presented coin and lower quality production coin. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. I'm not saying it's inferior gold or silver because it's not. They're all 4.9s, gold, silver, platinum, whichever one we're buying here. But let's take Matt's favourite coin, the maple.
Yep.
It is a mass-produced, uncapsulated
masterpiece.
Yeah, I think the maple's a poor example because that coin is stunning.
It is, but it comes over raw. Now, okay, if you buy it from Bullion Now,
you're telling me the cost is in the capsule?
No, I'm telling you. I'm telling you the cost. I'm telling you the cost is in the quality control that's there because it's encapsulated. The Kangaroo is a capsulated coin because each one is individually inspected. Each one is made sure it meets a certain criteria. It is then encapsulated. It is then packaged up and it's sent to us. So it's not just the capsule. It's that whole process behind it. Whereas the maple machine is literally they pour the gold in one end and it spits out maples at the other at 1,000,000 miles an hour and they bang against each other. They slide down a tube into a bucket. They're taken from a bucket and they're poured into another machine which spits them out into tubes. There is less. I shouldn't say there is no because that is completely incorrect. But there is less quality control or protection of each coin as it goes through.
I want to counter with something then. I obviously, we get maples through. I haven't had too many issues with the condition they arrive. Is there then a gap in Perth Mint's market for an uncapsulated, spit out a mile a minute coin, lower premium gold coin option that is now that the Kangaroo is now moved away from? Because in my head, that was what the Kangaroo used to fulfill, was that low premium. It's not really trying to tap into the collectible market at all. It's just, the plain old Kangaroo. We love it, but it was kind of the bare bones.
Yeah, but
now that they're raising those premiums, is there room for something closer to the maple?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
And I'll direct this one actually at Matt.
Yeah.
What's your biggest complaint about the maple?
I don't have enough of them.
Okay, what's your second biggest complaint about the maple? You've talked about it on stream before, and I'm throwing you under the spotlight at the moment, but...
Yeah, you are. Jeez, test my... I can't think of it in a negative
It's the
light.
same design each year,
Oh,
year in, year out. And you
yes,
said
yes,
because they celebrated something recently, like wasn't there it's the 40th year or something silly of the
Yeah,
maple.
anniversary, and they did a different
So you said,
style, yeah.
You said, it'd be great if they did the different design and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Every year we get a different Kangaroo.
Yep.
There is a cost in designing a new
But
Kangaroo.
that's what I'm saying, is that there's a spot there for one that then doesn't change.
Possibly there is
to lower that cost.
But then we
couldn't
end
you
up
do
with
the
that.
silver design? Couldn't we just use the silver Kangaroo design? Start
Well, they do on the
thumping that
kilo,
in gold?
which is why the kilo coin... actually, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot a little bit here. The kilo coin, as a kilo coin, is actually quite cheap.
Yeah.
In gold, I'm talking about, not in
Yeah.
silver. Because they just use the same design over. And they don't want to spend the money designing, because they don't cast a heck of a lot of those. So,
Yeah.
a new die would increase the cost quite a bit more,
Mm-hmm.
having to cast that or create that. But one of my biggest complaints with the Kangaroo is the fact that they only use the one design on the silver Kangaroo. I'd like to see them jazz it up a bit. But maybe you're right. Maybe the jazzed up one is the Kookaburra, the Koala, where they change the design every year. That's why we pay a bit more for it. And in the gold, maybe Ruben's right. Maybe there is a gap in the market where Perth Mint could actually produce a, same boring stale design year in, year out, but charge, I don't know, I'm making stuff up here, but charge $70 or $80 over spot premium for it rather than, I think it's about $140 over spot at the moment.
I'm throwing that poll up there based on Desi's comment about anything but the Silveroo design. It's like, would people actually even still go for, even if it was lower premium, would they still go, or are they sick of seeing that?
No, they love it. It's an icon. It's an award-winning design, lads.
Would you still get a cold kangaroo if you use the? Yeah, you would this year, and you would next year, but
Yeah.
you might not the year after, because we get. If you guys let me ask it this way instead of assuming your answer. Do you ever get complaints about, oh, really? Can't they change the design on the silver one?
Yes.
Look, you do hear that, yeah.
And we'd get the same with the gold.
And then I explained that it's an award-winning design and it's a national treasure. And
would
then everyone's
be-
happy.
I would be interested to know,
Yeah.
and potentially if anyone's in chat that can speak to this from any other country, but does your country run into that problem with their sovereign coin? Do people sit there wishing for constant changes to the Britannia or if anyone's from Canada, to the Maple, do they
when
sit
we
there going,
interviewed Tennessee coins,
yes,
I had to go through the states then. That was, sorry guys, I didn't mean any disrespect by that one. One of the comments that was made during that interview was, I wish they did something with our US Eagle. It's always the same. We never do, and I know, before somebody smacks me for it, this is type 2, but they never do anything different with it. It's always the same design year in, year out, whereas the Australian stuff is different every year. But to have that, you've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not trying to argue Perth Mint's point. They can make their own arguments. Should they have increased it as much as they did? That's not for me to say. But you've got to expect these increases when you're dealing with better designs, when you want the encapsulated coins, when you want the level of creativity and production quality that you get from the Perth Mint. Wages are going up, supplies are going up. The costs of doing business is going up. You've got to expect these things to actually increase in price.
No, fair.
I'll get off my soapbox now before I alienate every customer we've got.
Good little sesh.
Dear. Was a question from T before. Any chance of getting bullion coins from the New Zealand Mint? They have some lovely coins.
Yeah, they do indeed.
I'm Ruben, stand by the bleep button because I'm not sure what I'm allowed to say here or not. We had a really, really, really productive discussion with the New Zealand Mint when we were over in Berlin. They've got a new CEO and he seems on the money. He's still out of his depth, and I hope he's not watching this. He's still out of his...
Looking for input on the industry. And actually taking our feedback on board is how I'd phrase that. And we felt listened to, or at least I did, felt like it was, okay, cool, we're actually going to take on board what your experience is in the market, which I think is a great thing.
I think I misstepped then. I don't think he's out of his depth. I think he's recognising that he needs to listen to the market.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's not coming in with preconceived ideas and this is what we must do. He's saying, what do you want?
Which I actually think is what they need. So,
I think he's actually on the money. I think he's going to be really good. But it's really early day. I think he'd only been in the position 6 weeks or something when he arrived in Berlin.
Wow.
So he's still, he hasn't even got his slippers warmed up yet.
Yep.
So, I think that I've got high hopes for them. We did talk to them about their bullion coins over there. A lot of the conversation was around their numismatic designs or their numismatic production and release schedules. We also talked about their bullion designs, and they are very keen to actually fire those up again properly and make them more readily available, which is the issue that we've had with them. They've been very difficult to get hold of. So I'm hopeful that within 12 months we will see some really good consistent supplies out of the New Zealand Mint. As a sidestep to that, we also had a conversation with another company out of New Zealand that is producing bullion coins. And I don't have my bag here, but they gave us 2 samples, one of which I absolutely fell in love with. It's a fantastic one. I don't know if you'd call it New Zealand specific because it's got a deer on it, which is kind of not like that's not a New Zealand native, but the way it's done is incredibly good, and the indications are they're going to pitch it at a good price point. So I think that one will be successful. The other one was actually a really cool design. It was a Maori design, and it was really, really good. However, it had a word on there that I couldn't come to terms with. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Okay. Watch this space.
Yeah.
For products we may or may not get in the future then.
Yeah. So I'm hopeful that we're going to see, over the next 12 months, we're going to see some really good stuff out of New Zealand.
No, very good. Yeah, I think that was well handled.
I hope I didn't put my foot in it there too much. Because, like I said, I'm really hopeful with the new CEO. He seems really switched on.
Well, I think that's half the battle, right? If someone's asking the questions, all you can do is give your best answers and hope that, that contributes to the overall success of what they're looking to achieve. So it could be good.
Good stuff. All right, I think a question for Matt. I've been talking most of this stream up to now.
What have we got? Do you think that the US Mint will change the Silver Eagle design in 2026 to commemorate their 250th year of independence? They've actually phrased that as a statement that they think they will. But do you reckon America's going to lean into much change for the 250th year of independence?
No. I think they will, but they won't do it with the Eagle. I don't think they'll bother to... Particularly given that they seem to have had the production issues with keeping up with demand when there was that big, 500,000 ounce order last year or the year before, whenever it was. If you're struggling to keep up with production of your major bullion coin, we've seen it happen with the change of effigy with King Charles. Just the change of an obverse effigy is the biggest spanner in the works, I would say, in Australian numismatic history. So to try and keep up with demand and then implement a whole new design, which I guess speaks to the whole maple kangaroo standard design issue we were chatting about earlier, I would be much more confident in the assumption that they will produce a standalone proof coin. And the US Mint, what's the opposite of I got to hand it to them?
Got to take it away.
I got to take it away from them. They absolutely have tremendous difficulty with their packaging. It is some of the weakest packaging of all time.
Even worse than Ram stuff?
Wow. That's a good question, actually. I dislike it, but in a different way. And I've said this many times on camera, so I do very much respect and appreciate the angle that the Ram are coming from with the whole idea of sustainability.
You are tiptoeing down this line nicely, mate.
Well, no, because it's true. But the view, and I'll say it again. This is what happens when you say, ask Matt a question. It's great in theory, but I see something that I get around more is sustainability in packaging, not using, certain plastics or whatever. I like, all of the environmentally friendly packaging stuff. But for the actual box that I'm storing my $150 proof coin in, I'm not going to throw it in the rubbish anytime soon. It's not going to end up in landfill. Yeah. So why are you making it out of some biodegradable trash? I don't want it. See, I wasn't super delicate.
I don't want it to biodegrade in my hand. Yeah.
Exactly. But the point I was driving towards is, US Mint, I'm not thrilled about their proof. Their packaging in general is very lackluster. It's been underwhelming since the 80s. I've never seen US Mint packaging that thrilled me.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that.
So you glad you let me answer a question now?
Michael, after our discussion on New Zealand Mint, Metal Inquisitor has just brought a product to my attention.
Ooh.
We should have got that bigger one.
Yeah. If only there was the opportunity to secure one. Could have done some videos.
Ruben just talked us out of it. It was unbelievable.
Long-time viewers may be aware there was a bit of back and forth on whether we should get the kilo version on this. Michael jokingly pretending that it was not him who put the roadblock on that. But New Zealand Mint have released a 300-gram version. So what's the call now, Michael? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think we had this discussion once before, and I said I think we should get one.
There we go.
Yeah.
We go. And
It's
someone
on.
clip that.
Ruben is currently placing the order.
Well, that's fine. You can even use... Oh, heck, who's got my Amex at the moment? Somebody took it out of my office before, and I can't remember who took it.
I saw a customer walking down saying,
With a real big smile.
yeah.
Yeah, so somebody out there's got my Amex. If you could find it and return it, that'd be great.
So it's 300 grams. It kind of fits almost between a thumb and forefinger. It's a little bit more of a kind of golf ball size.
Yeah, I was
that doesn't
I was just
sound
going to
super
say,
imposing.
just remember that it's like, I'm trying to give you perspective, and you can't get perspective on a camera.
Well, that's why we need an unboxing one.
Yeah, but
to
it is
blow one up.
literally. I don't think it's even golf ball size. I think it's smaller than that.
Yeah.
Ping pong ball size.
It's pretty small. So don't go, oh wow, it's 300 grams.
Wow,
it's-
Ruben's got some pretty slick lenses. You get up close enough, it'll look massive.
But that's
Fill
what
the
I'm,
screen.
I'm hopefully
project a
looking.
little image of Matt.
Standing in front of it. Well, we've got the video ideas are flowing.
Yeah, but even the kilo one's only kind of a handful,
Yeah.
barely that, So don't get too excited by wow, it's 300 grams.
You really need 10 plus kilos to make it worthwhile.
yeah.
The
Well,
gold
that's it.
star. Thanks, Fanta.
We should hit on something that I was slightly embarrassed about this week, and that's our storage.
There was some
Yeah,
questions.
please.
There were some questions flowing through. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt's coming from a bit of a place of please answer
Took me back.
some questions for me.
Took me right back to the days. Remember that video we produced asking for help on the phones? I was sort of curled up in the corner saying, please come and work here.
Yeah.
It was I wouldn't say a nice, it was an interesting throwback to those times past day or two.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Go on,
it was
fill us in. What's
pretty
the-
sad walking into the. We're kind of just over the other side of this wall here, a little bit further. We have the phones room, and the two guys that were in there were curled up in the fetal position by the afternoon. It wasn't great. So look, that was a screw up on our account. I can point the fingers in all sorts of directions, but at the end of the day, it's my fault. We had an issue with our. We had an issue. Emails were sent out with invoices that should never have gone out. They had a please pay up. Your stock has been in storage or your collection, your stack has been in storage for more than 3 months. You need to pay for a storage fee, even though people had only had it in for 6, 8 weeks, sort of thing, 10 weeks. I don't know what the exact cutoff was on that. I didn't look that closely, but it should never have gone out, and I humbly apologise to everyone. It was not the done thing. It shouldn't have gone out, but it did. So if you did receive one of those, just look, in an ideal world, just type back to us, hey, I'm ignoring this, or please delete, or something like that. We'll delete them out of our system. Please don't let us send out payment reminders on it. I must chase that and make sure that we don't. Look, it was sent out in error. I apologise for any distress that it may have caused. We absolutely do 3 months free storage with any purchase that you have. And remind me to come back to that statement in a second, Ruben. We do 3 months free storage for anything that any purchase that you make. You can take advantage of that. It's designed around you being able to build up a number of items before you have to pay for shipping, or before you make the effort to come into the store and pick them up. So we're not going back on that in any form. We absolutely honour the 3 months of free storage. Please don't take anything away from that other than it was a basic error. So, and I apologise for it.
Question from Goat there that I saw them having some trouble with. I responded to their comment already, but just to double check for them. I responded to the email Wednesday, made a new order that I paid in full. I haven't had a response back yet. So my response, and this is basically a question to you, Matt, would you rather people email or call in to have sorted it? Like, are you still getting through the emails, responding to queries on them?
There's a lot going on both fronts. So the general, what's the word? The approach at the moment is obviously, and as is always the case, communicate with us in whatever method is most practical for you, but just be mindful that there's a lot, volume-wise, there's a tremendous amount happening at the moment. So there are a couple of people where, and I was laughing with Michael earlier, I said, as I'm working my way through voicemails, it's building up faster than I'm dialing out as the phone's dialing in, and it's banking up. So it's something that'll obviously be a short-term point of difficulty, but just bear in mind that it'll take a little longer than our normal speedy responses, whether it be calling you back or getting back to your emails. But it's not something that I would suggest is a cause for panic. We're not going to be, blacklisting your account as a result of any of this, and it's something that we're working our way through. So, but having said that, there's been some nice conversations out the back of it as well. So there has been a silver lining, pun intended. I've had some nice conversations with people on the phone and on the whole, everyone's been very understanding. This is something that was obviously not intended to cause any concern or issues, and the vast majority of people have been really receptive to it, and it's been nice to have some pleasant chats on the phone. So, yeah, again, either or.
Yeah,
both are fine, but it may take a little longer.
For those that have worked on phone lines before would understand this, but if you haven't, there is nothing more distressing than making phone calls, like returning people's phone calls and getting off the phone and realising that 3 more have been added in the 2 minutes that you've been on the phone. And it's like, by afternoon, you just like... When it just hammers you all day and the list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, it's like, oh man, am I ever going to get to the end of this?
It kind of feels like thrashing around in quicksand. Like, I'm sinking. I better speed it up. I'm going further in. But I think, we're mindful that it will hopefully be a finite issue, and by maybe early to mid next week, we'll have a full handle on it again.
Yeah, look, the company policy is that phone calls are returned within an hour, emails are responded to within 24 hours. Usually we manage that, but when you end up with, we started the morning with 140 emails overnight, and it went downhill from there. Yeah. And poor old Con and Andrew were just tearing their hair out. Matt wasn't far behind. Like everyone was pitching in to try and clear it. But when you start at 140 emails that you've got to respond to, it's only going to get worse from there. So it may take us several days, and I'll be still hitting the emails over the weekend. And, we will clean them up as quickly as we can. Don't panic. We're not going to forget you or ignore you. We just might take a couple of extra days to get to you.
Yep.
Bit of a. I'll play a little clip from the news, and that'll kind of go over the basics. But then we can have a bit of a chat about it.
Backyard operation.
Absolutely stupid behaviour by some organised criminals.
As Kalgoorlie sweltered through a heat wave and a city-wide blackout last week, police were busy knocking down doors.
We did 17 warrants, and several of those warrants resulted in the identification of backyard processing areas.
About 30 tons of gold-bearing ore from Kalgoorlie mine sites seized across several homes.
They've been engaging in this amateur refining, which could have not only obviously exposed people in the close proximity to the dangers of dangerous chemicals, but could even have done things like poisoned the local water supply. Incredibly dangerous.
Bit of an attack on amateur. They are coming at it from the point of they were apparently using mercury, and so they were bringing up danger to schools and the public kind of generally around. So that was kind of the angle they were coming at it from. But I thought it was interesting, and I'm not sure if the audio covered it there. But yeah, it was 17 properties during a 3-day operation with the Kalgoorlie-based gold stealing detection unit.
Well, that fascinates me that they have a gold stealing detection unit. If anyone watching this knows one of the people in there, or is one of the people in there, get them to contact us. I'd love to interview them.
Yeah, that'd be fascinating.
I didn't know such an arm of the police existed.
I didn't either.
Maybe they're a special task force.
I suspect through other investigations they've realised, hey, these might be the hotspots for it. But that's it. 17 properties is quite a bit, and 30 tons of stolen gold-bearing ore. So that's quite a bit of material to have spread around. That's it. Well over a ton in each property of just rock.
Yeah.
Something you don't see or hear of every day, I suppose.
Yeah. I don't know. I just are they characterising anyone with a furnace in their backyard as dangerous?
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to comment
Well,
from.
yeah, this kind of gives off that same energy as a bloke with face tats bought some bullion at the
Yeah.
Perth Mint. So look out, bullion dangerous.
I don't know. I just it's probably unfair to characterise this whole thing by a, we know how accurate journos are these days, particularly from certain government organised journalistic agencies. I don't know. I guess it concerns me that, kind of like was said previously, like bullion danger. It's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, if you're operating a furnace in your backyard without the appropriate safety equipment, it's risky business.
Yeah, look, and
so
you
is
don't-
riding a bike without a helmet, though.
Yeah, but you don't want. I'm not trying to say that people should be free to pour mercury down their drains and into the waterways or anything like that. That's not where I'm coming from. But I don't know. It always concerns me when governments start saying, you should or shouldn't be doing this for these reasons. Having a furnace is not illegal in and of itself. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if they're tagged to illegal bikie gangs and that sort of stuff, well, I guess it's a different thing. Yeah.
Sounds like some people are having issues with freezing. It's actually not our end. I've not dropped any frames, so I think
No, it's flipping
YouTube's
hot in
doing
Melbourne.
something.
We're not freezing at all.
Yeah.
Air conditioning's barely keeping up, so it's definitely not us.
Yeah, so hopefully that sorts itself out because I can't do anything about that one. Something else that happened this week that I thought was worth mentioning. We filmed a video, Michael, a highly
Hey,
requested
did ya?
one. The
Yeah.
Go Bag.
Whoa.
So what does a bullion dealer keep in his go bag? We sat down with Michael and Alex, if people remember him from a recent stream, to talk about what you guys recommend storing in a go bag, a get out of dodge bag. So that should be going up over the weekend. Is the hope.
Cool.
So
What's in your go bag, Matt? Other than nappies and baby wipes.
it's
A bit of formula.
It's all nappies and baby wipes.
That's a good question. Currently, it's something that I haven't revised for quite some time. I think it's probably important. This will hopefully be a timely reminder for a number of people to either give consideration to updating their bags, because as you've sort of rightfully pointed out, as your circumstances change, so too do your requirements in the event that you do need to beeline somewhere quickly and efficiently. I haven't updated any of my sort of go bag procedures since pre-fatherhood. So you're right, it would differ significantly, and there would be, maybe I could carve out a small 4 or 5% of the bag for my personal needs, and then everything else is sort of no longer mine. But and also something that I did change when I did move from apartment living to home living. That was a time for me where into a house, some of my needs changed again. So I guess I haven't watched the video yet. I feel like you need to see my live reaction, Ruben. You get a second video out of it. I'll watch it and give my thoughts and opinions, because it obviously differs greatly depending on where you are in relation to, services, utilities, things like that, and obviously how much land you're on, all that sort of jazz. So mine was always very simple, because I predominantly lived in not the burbs, in cities. Like I lived in Richmond, like in the city, and in Sydney I was living right in the CBD, so it was always pretty simple. But I guess in that sense I'd probably be a goner pretty early on, like if things got really, really crazy. Survival skills, that's probably something that we need to touch on at some point.
Let's put a Matt in the wilderness.
Let's do an episode, Matt and Michael we'll put us in two different
the
areas.
self-proclaimed bush pig versus the city dweller.
Yep. And we even just
I'd watch that.
let's do when we just do a basic. I think that would be a lot of fun. A basic setup. So what we won't actually do it overnight, but it's all right. Prepare a basic camp for your overnight, and what would that look like? And we'll do a Matt and Michael comparison.
You know what would be fairer is if they drop you in the bush in the middle of nowhere with nothing,
And
and
you
they
in the
drop me
city.
in the middle of Sydney with nothing, because I'd be so out of that would be so fish out of water. It would be funny. I wouldn't have a clue.
Don't know how relevant to Bullion it is, but I would absolutely
I
watch
could,
that.
we
I
can,
would
we
watch
can,
that.
we can tie it in. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Very entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah, what do you mean I have to buy something at a restaurant? What's this restaurant thing?
Oh dear.
But I look forward to that. When's that coming out, Ruben? That's Saturday?
Saying sometime over the weekend. Yeah,
Okay.
I can preset that to go on Saturday. So stay tuned for that.
I think Laurie's touching on a point there as well. So I have, and I'm not trying to steal the thunder from the video, but
Yeah, come on. You can't say everything.
we talk about a go bag. We actually have multiple go bags for different scenarios because there's a completely different scenario if I'm bolting out because we've got a bushfire, because I make no bones about the fact that I live in regional Victoria, and regional Victoria's at this time of year is a walking matchstick.
Tinderbox, yeah.
For those outside of Australia, there has been people having to evacuate because of fires in the last few days.
That's in Western Victoria, and I live in Eastern Victoria. So my heart goes out to Western Victoria at the moment. Been there, done that, got the scars, literally. So I have a go bag for that, but we also have go bags for other scenarios where we might have to evacuate quickly, but for a different reason, and even for a different season. So you revisit prior to summer. You revisit your summer go bag, and analyse what's going on there. But we also, I should say, have a winter go bag because we're looking at completely different scenarios there. Warmer clothing.
Yep.
We're not looking at so much protection against fire and heat as much as protection against the cold and and the various problems water and the various problems that brings. So don't ask about how many snake kits we have, mate. Better question is how many have we had to use. Anyway.
I reckon we might be up for a special.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Bring it on. What are we doing?
Yeah, what is it? Who is it? Where is it?
This one's got an international flavour.
It does. About time.
And semi-linked in potentially with the Go Bag video. It's fractional.
Oh, it is, yeah.
fractional.
We didn't even think about that. Also, check this out, Ruben. It's linked with the storage video.
Oh,
Is this the ultimate special?
so linked.
Wow, this is going to go off.
Yeah, excellent. Somebody want to describe it because I really don't know what we're doing here. Oh, that's it.
Well, you blew the surprise, mate. I was going to pull this out and say,
Michael was after
what
an
do you think
explanation.
this is? I'm
Michael was
after an
after an
explanation. What is this?
That is the container that they were being held in. I
some
believe
sort
it's
of-
a French effervescent.
See? It gives it away.
It's French for yogurt.
French hydrolyte. Ta-da.
So, what are they, Rubes? Seeing as you've shown the photo.
I will be deferring to Matt for some additional details, but these are 20 francs.
Ta-da.
There is more than 20 of them. But these...
Called a franc, not a franc.
Oh, sorry.
Les francs.
Yes, I'm sorry.
But of
very,
course.
very much not cultured. I am going to fling to you, Matt. Can we get a little bit of a breakdown in history
Yeah,
for those
sure.
that may not be aware of what these are?
So these are a very, very popular bullion coin. So they've been produced since 1852 right up till the early 1900s. I think it was about 1920. There are 3 different types. There is the Napoleon type, which was first. There was then an angel type, which was in the middle from...
Come on, get it right here.
1872 to 1899, I want to say. And then from the early 1900s throughout was the rooster type. Sorry, the middle type was the angel type. So you have the Napoleon, the angel, and the rooster. The rooster is my personal favourite because there's something cool about seeing a rooster on a coin. It's actually, I haven't had a look at these. We might not even have any roosters.
I don't
Should
believe...
we highlight that there's no preferential... you can't make a special request.
I don't actually think there are any roosters. I think these are
predominantly
all
the
bar
Napoleon
one.
types.
I think they're all the same.
Oh, okay.
There was
These
one
are,
that
so
was...
well, in that sense, these are cool. These are the earlier types. These will be from 1852 onwards till 1870, I think. They're 6.45 grams and they're 22 carat. So it works out to be just under a fifth of an ounce. It's 0.186 something of an ounce. Might have to get the specifics for you. 0.1867. Jeez, what a memory. of
you're
a
on
troy
fire.
ounce of gold. Yeah. And coins like these are very, very cool, as we often say, or as Michael says a lot, to add a bit of flavour to your stack, have a little bit of history, something a little out of the ordinary, and it ties in with fractional. If you have an interest in some smaller fractions to put into your go bag perhaps,
Yeah.
or to put into some form of clever, ingenious storage, that's my brief. That's my burst.
Good for a present, good for a good talking point, all those sorts of things.
Yeah, give them
They're
to
just
someone you
good.
like, someone you don't like, whatever you like. Keep them for yourself.
Yeah. And they've got character. They're not, like, don't get excited. They're not in brand new condition, any of those sorts of things. They are a
Brand new for that age.
That's right.
I'd say get excited then for that reason.
Yeah, look, I'd actually agree
If
with that
these coins
statement.
could talk.
Yeah. Hold one up to see size. Well, I hate holding them up for camera for sizing.
It's
because
about
you
a
can't
10
get any-
cent piece, I'd say, is a comparable. It's
have a
6.45 grams. So if you consider a sovereign is 7.98 grams, it's a little bit smaller than a gold sovereign.
Yeah, so you're probably right. It's probably 10 cent ish in size.
Yeah.
Probably not in thickness, but certainly in size. No, probably is in thickness too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if
I'll
we
say,
had a
it
10 cent
doesn't really
piece.
help
I
to
was
have
just
the
looking
If
at my
only.
wallet,
on there.
but I haven't got. Ruben, we're in your office, mate.
Yeah.
Have you got your wallet here? Have you got a 10 cent piece on you?
I don't believe so.
Yeah. So
I am sorry to put a bit of a handbrake on this, but I'm being told by the back end people that the link is coming soon, so I don't actually.
Oh, as if.
Yeah,
All
everyone-
this time to prepare.
Everyone wait. Everyone blame Adam. But yeah, still a very, very cool. You know, we talk about having that piece of history that, even as I was kind of going through them to take those photos, it's like, I wonder where this coin's been. I wonder who's held this one.
Yeah.
I love the potential history in each of them.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I do it more with sovereigns than with francs because they're not part of our. Normally, they're not part of our culture. But yeah, with sovs, you think, was this around during the gold rush? Was it
Yeah.
produced during the gold rush? Did
Yeah.
it rattle around in a miner's boot? I know there was a gentleman, I've talked about this online before, but a gentleman came into BN with a sovereign that had been in his grandfather's flight jacket
Oh,
when he was
yeah.
flying during, I think he was a navigator in World War II. You just come out with those kind of what if stories and
Yeah.
imagination and where's it been and who's handled it. It could be anyone from Queen Victoria through to, a beggar on the street type
Yeah.
of scenarios. It makes you wonder, makes you think.
Some clarifications for people. M&P wants to know about GST.
They will absolutely incur GST. The price that we are going to announce will include GST.
Yep.
So, I don't know, do we announce the price now or do we wait until they get
We can wait till our link just to make sure that it's all functioning properly. I think it's probably best.
Yeah, okay.
And Metal Inquisitor wants to know, do these have a little numismatic value?
If you found the right buyer.
Yeah, if it tickled someone, if someone had a French relative, and the year coincided with some event,
With their birthday.
exactly, it's a sentimental value. I would say no numismatic value in the sense of, wow, you got to get one of these. It's probably in line with the ducats we did once upon a time. It's very much a widely available coin that was produced in the millions and millions. It may have, and I could be jumping the gun here, there may be more of these than sovereigns in certain years. Like they were really, really, really mass produced, which is good for this type of thing. But if you're looking at, bagging a super duper rarity, it's not so much this.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I don't even think there's rare years in these, is
I
there?
don't think so. From what I gather, I haven't seen any that have really set my world ablaze. Even the ones that are in quite good condition you don't get a massive premium for them.
So what year? I haven't got my glasses. Where are they? Yeah. What year are these?
They'll range from 1852 to 1870, I believe.
So they have seen...
Oh, they've seen some action. Make no mistake.
I mean, this isn't even just modern action. This has seen, turn of the century action and...
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to think of things other than World War I, World War II, but, the Great Depression they would have been through. They've been through the Boer War, although the French weren't really involved in that.
Yeah. Dom Bradman's first game of cricket. You name it, it's seen it.
Yeah. So it's it's amazing stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's where my brain goes with these things. Is
Oh, absolutely.
you know, I suppose French independence was a bit before that, but it wasn't. When did the French Revolution happen? French Revolution was 1799. So these coins were only like, what did you say? 1752. So these coins...
1852.
Yeah, 1852. So these coins were made probably 50, 60 years after the French Revolution.
Yeah.
That's almost my memory. Not quite. I'm not quite that old, but I'm not far off.
Yeah.
It's amazing. They were around not that long after Australia was kind of,
Wow,
kicking around.
The first year of production for these, for a comparison, you're talking the Adelaide pound was getting knocked out without permission in South Australia,
and they were pretty rough and ready, not like these things, which are actually quite refined.
Yeah.
So,
need we say more? Get to the main event. Get to the headline.
We do need to say more. We need a link.
I've been told that the photo that I uploaded for them is too high quality, so they're attempting to reduce the size.
Jeez.
Yeah, we always need to dumb it down in the back end of Bullion Now, don't we?
Yeah, otherwise we have a whole new batch of emails that go out and the phones will light up once more.
All right, there's some other stuff that we need to cover while the boys are getting organised over there. So I highlighted one here from Alex. Michael, what was your impression of the German economy? This can be directed at Ruben as well, whilst you were in Berlin recently. You got any comments you want to make on that, Rubes?
There was a few things that I found significantly cheaper. If we're talking just the price of goods and things like that, there was a few things I went, oh, that's cheaper than I'd find it. Particularly comparing Berlin kind of CBD to Melbourne CBD. I was surprised at how cheap some things were, pleasantly. And as far as a state on the broader economy, there was a lot going on turmoil-wise with their farmers and politically. But yeah, I think overall I was pleasantly surprised to see what was going on in Europe versus kind of what's been going on in Australia recently.
Yeah. Look, I found, like, as a broader statement on the economy over there, I found it not as pumping as it has been in previous years.
Well, that's it. I've got far less to compare it to, whereas you've been over there a few times to actually,
like, even if you look out the front of, we tend to stay in the same area, in that Wittenbergplatz area, almost every time we go over. And it's not a town square, but it's almost like a town square out the front of the hotel we were staying in this time. There's a market there that's on 3 or 4 days a week. And there is also, they're not roadside stands. What would you call them, Rubes? Those kind of takeaway places?
Yeah, just like the kind of your hot chip cart kind of,
kind of out the front. And at least one of them...
at markets or a fair or something.
Yeah, but at least one of them was completely closed. One of them certainly wasn't pumping like it normally is. The restaurants weren't as full as normal.
I think the impression I got, because we also were over in England as well, and I think the impression I got from some areas is some of them are so much more focused on the summer tourism. Because we were over there in winter. I think that's far more of a deciding factor for places rather than over here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they are, but I think they are like every year. Like summer is always pumping a lot more. You go to Melbourne, there's more festivals on during summer. There's more, outdoor events and all that sort of stuff. And it's particularly so over there because their winters are far more harsh than ours are. But overall, I found the economy just not as pumping along as it's always been. So that's probably my overall comment on that. The other thing, I didn't finish off the storage comments that were up there. I've just noticed my highlighted note here. So with the storage thing, there's been a bit of comment about...
The link is live.
Do we want to finish that off first?
Probably better to tie up that loose end.
So let's throw the link up. Get it out there. So you don't have to race away from here. we do have a number of these, and they are $5 over spot.
Wow.
So if you want fractional gold at $5 over spot, this is the way to go, including GST. So again, if you're traveling overseas, there may possibly be the opportunity to claim that GST back if you're traveling over in the next 4 weeks, I believe it is, or 30 days, something like that. But they are now available, $5 over spot until sold out or Monday, whichever occurs first.
Yeah. Very good. Even if you're listening on Spotify, they may still be available.
Yeah, zip over there and see if you can grab one.
The stream, they'll be 20% over spot. What was it? What were you wanting to tie off on the
Storage.
Oh, yeah.
storage?
So many a moon ago, around the kickoff of COVID, we had the storage as 3 months, and we made it a rolling storage. So if you purchase something, you've got something in storage for, let's say, 2 months, and then you purchase something new to put into storage, then we rolled that 3 month storage. Did that purely actually because of COVID and the fact that people couldn't come in. You got to remember at the end of the day, we're Victorians, and lockdown in Victoria was next level. So we weren't sure exactly when anyone was going to be allowed out of their homes because this dragged on for months and months and months. So it was decided that we would just keep rolling the storage over for free until, and if you go back into the really old videos that we released around then, until COVID had finished, and then we were going to review it or go back to the way it was intended, which was just a pure 3 months of storage. Now, we actually kept that going for quite a while after COVID had finished because, again, being Victorian, we weren't sure that any moment now we weren't going to drop straight back into it. So rather than going back to the old ways, we kept it that rolling 3 months. That was we tied a knot in that probably it'd be a good 12 months ago, possibly a bit longer, where we said, okay, well, COVID's over, the lockdown's over as far as we're aware. If we go back into a lockdown scenario, we will revisit this. But at this stage, we need to go back to 3 months of storage because it was incredibly expensive for us as a company to actually keep paying all the insurance and storage costs on all that product for an indeterminate amount of time. And probably the other issue I had with it, and this is, again, not everyone does this, not everyone has the capacity to do this, but, people were storing hundreds of thousands of dollars of product with us and then buying a silver kangaroo, which we make pretty much nothing out of if we're completely transparent here. It's really, the kangaroos are more done as a service than anything else. And I noticed people commenting earlier that they didn't want me talking too long about kangaroos because I start saying Perth Mint doesn't charge enough for them. They're too cheap. They need to increase their price. That's one of the issues is, there is no margin left in them because they are so cheap. So people would store, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of product with us and buy a silver kangaroo every 3 months. And, the 30 cents that we make out of a kangaroo, and I think I'm exaggerating there, wasn't covering the insurance cost of insuring several $100,000 worth of gold that we were storing for, an individual. So that was the other reason we had to tie it off, because it was either that or go broke.
Oh, I'm glad you went down that avenue rather than the alternative.
Yes. Alrighty. I think we're back online and we've got the link. So they are available as of, I'm assuming we haven't sold out yet, but they are available as of now.
Well, as people can see on the table, we brought back a bit of a number of them. So, yeah.
More than 20.
More than 20.
Woo. I'll repop that there just in case anyone's curious. I reckon we need to start winding up.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We haven't done 80 questions in 15 seconds yet.
Yeah. Exactly. That is one thing we need to hit beforehand, and I've actually written a couple down to start with.
All right. So for anyone that's newly watching this, what we try and do is crank through as many possible questions as we can. Ruben reads them out. Matt and I jump on them and try and respond in 3 syllables or less.
Alrighty.
Generally a few more.
No, don't say 3 syllables.
All right, begin.
The floating UFO coin.
Yes, beautiful.
Are we getting any?
Yes.
Okay. Any pre-decimal? Someone asked before.
There is some kicking out the back, but I think it's US. It's
okay.
not pre-decimal. I think it's US.
Old constitutional stuff.
That's the stuff. Keep going.
Ever thought of doing gift cards?
Yes.
Is it likely something we're likely to implement?
Say that again.
Is it something we're likely to implement?
I would love to.
Okay. Any news on the new location?
Yes. No, not going any further with that one.
COD bars. Call of Duty
there's
bars.
somewhere in the system.
Have we heard anything more about Perth Mint bringing back the 10-ounce silver bar?
Yes.
Okay. The precious metal analysis machine.
Ruben stops us doing it
Every time. We
Every-
almost film it, and he says, no, don't worry about it.
2024 Wedgetail Eagles.
Yes, they are out next week on the 7th.
Wow.
There you go. ETA on runes.
I don't know.
Okay. Opal Lunas.
I called that. I knew someone was going to ask me that.
Yeah, didn't we get asked that earlier?
I'll fling this one. That was the Great Southern
Or maybe I
Lands.
just saw you
I'll fling
looking
this
at it.
one to you, Matt. Was looking for that. The Silver Krug's milk spot post badly, I think. Yeah.
Yes, they can do on occasion. And
Yeah.
I think that's perhaps partially due to the fact that the South African Mint have only been producing them for a comparatively short amount of time.
Yeah,
so
it
they
was
started...
2016 or 17?
It was 17. It
17.
coincided with the 50th anniversary. So
Yeah.
1967 was the first gold Krugerrand. So for the 50th anniversary, what's happened?
I'm glad you kept that to 3 syllables or less, mate.
He was
I
covering for you.
was buying your time, mate. I'm trying to do you a favour. I could have just said yes.
Probably one of the most exciting releases, the Lunar Opal, is due out on the 5th of March, which would be Tuesday.
There we
gee.
go.
And it's a stunner.
Ooh.
Should I turn my...
Can you?
No, it's not my fault. I turned it round.
We'll be selling Ram Dragons next week.
Not next week.
Gold or silver, what has a higher ceiling?
Define the ceiling. What do you
Yeah.
mean? Percentage growth or like dollar value?
I
don't know.
firmly believe we will see silver at $1,000 an ounce. I just don't think it'll be in my lifetime.
Can we get
Wow.
show and tell with your favourite coins?
I
I've
don't-
got a 20 franc here. Yeah, that's a good idea though. Should do a bit of a
mate,
show and tell.
You'll be here all week.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Why do you think 2024 gold kangaroo is selling so slowly? Have we said the KC 111? King Charles 111?
King Charles III.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's
I
the first.
think-
That's the first time I've seen it expressed like that. Yeah. Why do we think the 2024 King Charles kangaroo is selling so
I think
slowly?
people are trying to swallow the premium.
We've kind of already said about the 1/10th aliens.
Will that make them rare?
Is premium low mintage coins
Probably.
worth the high price? Will it increase in value?
Premium low mintage coins were sometimes.
How did you handle the hot weather when checking out the new store location on the Gold Coast?
Oh, mate.
Had to go on the Superman roller coaster to cool off.
Would Michael or Matt ever invest in space mining if/when the chance appears?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Particularly if I can go and inspect.
I was going to say I might be up there doing it. I'll be on the tools.
Is LCS getting the full list of releases next week?
Stand by one.
Okay.
Yeah, geez, there's no shortage, is there?
No, it's a huge list
yeah.
next month release. As far as I'm aware, LCS is getting every single one of those.
Awesome. Did Ruben get the
Including the 10
GST
set.
back on that Sovereign last year? I did. It took, I think, about a week to flow through. And yes, I got the GST back as a payment on that one. Should I trade my 100-ounce silver bar for all 1-ounce rounds?
That's more than a 3-syllable answer. It depends.
Amstaff, we kind of covered this with the silver. I'd say the answer is very similar.
It depends.
Will the gold price ever explode higher, e.g. 5 or 10K? I think it's kind of similar to your silver one. You know, it'll hit there eventually, but it's what
Yeah,
the
look,
Australian dollar's doing in the meantime.
Silver doesn't explode as a rule. If you go back over the last 5,000 years, goes up a bit, comes down a bit, goes up, comes down a bit, goes up, comes down a bit. It's very stable. And we can go in a whole explanation of to why it's a very stable growth asset. But that would be more than 3 syllables.
You've already blown out 3 syllables. But in addition to that, since we've come this far, it also depends on what you're comparing it to.
Yes.
As in what currency you're measuring it against. Because if you went to Zimbabwe, you'd say, wow, silver did explode. In my local currency, it went from $100 an ounce to $1 million an ounce over the course of weeks. Yeah, but you know what I mean. So it's not as simple of a an answer.
Yeah,
Defending myself from Mad Dog Joe here. Millennials and the lack of knowledge of Roman numerals. It was 111, not I.
Yeah.
Goat actually touches on there. Gold never explodes, the other currencies fail, and he's actually right. And your example highlights that. So yeah.
What's your favorite ancient Roman coin?
I love an old Alexander the Great tetradrachm, which is a larger silver coin. You get that detail on it. And the old, sorry, too many syllables. Yeah, there you go. That's it. I'll stop.
Never ask Matt what his favourite coin series is and expect a short answer.
Have you got one, Michael? Or just
No, I don't go into the ancients.
Perth or New Zealand mint? Who makes better quality?
Perth.
Well, you have to say Perth because New Zealand Mint don't make
Yeah,
anything.
not a mint.
They're just a marketing company. Not just. That was unfair.
Yeah. And apparently they're out of their depth.
Lunar Minted Dragons in stock. We kind of covered this before, but it's just as a part of a summary.
We have a limited number back in stock.
2024 Kangaroos are still on pre-order.
2024, which ones?
The 1 ounce, presumably talking about the silver. because the
Silver
gold's-
is still... when they're only delivering in one monster box at a time, well, yeah, they're not going to come off pre-order until we actually have a decent number here. I don't want to have a stand-up argument with someone in the front, like, saying, well, they're available on your website. Where are they?
Yeah. And I think we need to end off there with a little pre-thing for the Silver Stackers meeting that isn't called the Silver Stackers meeting anymore,
Hey.
the Metals Meetup, which is
Yeah.
happening
Oh,
on
yeah.
Sunday. We mentioned that last week. If you're interested for details, it's happening within the Melbourne CBD. Email mark@bulliontraders.com.au. That'll be happening on the 3rd.
And the big tip on that one is I think that book that we highlighted last week, that one, the
Ooh,
Australian Port
nice.
Ingots one, I'm pretty sure that Kim Brett will be there with some copies that he will be signing and available.
Nice.
So if you're in the neighbourhood, it is worth it purely just to turn up and grab that book, although there will be a lot of other value by turning up as well. So absolutely, if you can be there, be there. And I've got to highlight Goat's question because I read it as, would you interview more con artists?
Could be interesting. Chat to some of those blokes in Kalgoorlie with their, see what their operations are like.
Are you going to answer the question or just highlight?
I would love to. Yeah, we should reach out to some more. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, see what... I've started speaking and I've got the end game, but I forgot who else... You know who I'm about to say.
Lucas?
Wedge-tailed eagle guy.
Oh, no, Wedge-tailed eagle.
John
no,
McCanty.
John McCanty.
Yeah, we'll get him on. See if he wants to fly over. He could come on for a stream.
You could ask him about the
The Liberty.
the Liberty then.
All right, watch this space. I'll send a few emails. Try and smooth things over a bit.
Is Bullion now going to have a presence at the Metals Meetup?
It will do. I'm just not 100% sure what that presence will be yet.
No worries. All right, I think we're going to wind it up there. Stay tuned for that Go Bag video coming out tomorrow. You can find out what Michael has stashed away.
Yeah.
And the new releases next week, both from LCS, a little coin shop, and from Bullion Now. You've got the Kilo Kookaburra
Yes.
released next week. You've got the Wedgie released next week, and you've got the Opal Lunar Dragon, the Lunar Series in half ounce, the 10 series set. You've got the Yin Yang Koi, which is a beauty. You've got the Rotating Dragon Charm, which I love. You've got the James Bond. You've got the Wedding Coin, the Baby Coin, the Happy Birthday Coin, the One
That
Love.
is quite the release.
Yeah.
And the Anzac one, which is always great. I love the Anzac release. It's just the dollar copper nickel, but it's always really, really good and a really poignant reminder of our history and what we need to be thankful for. So check out those next week. They will be being released all over the shop.
Yeah, lots coming. All right, thank you, everyone. Got to give the stream a like to keep Matt happy. Get it
Please.
over the 100.
Well, 16.
No, I think
No, you got to do a refresh,
I might
mate.
sleep in next week. Oh, okay.
But yeah, thank you very much for watching, everyone, and we will see you next week.
See ya.
See ya.